This is where I think out loud. No script, just perspective. Growth isn't loud, the spoken grind.
I'm gonna call this episode 4 of the Spoken Grind. It's 11:30 p.m., bro, on a Tuesday night. Just had our team headshots, a quick team meeting, and a quick Nest meeting. I feel like I'm trying to make sure that I'm staying on top of everything, keeping my energy right, making sure that it's good for everybody else as well too, Yeah, I feel like I just needed to come on here and just talk for a little bit and kind of talk my shit, Like, today is, I think, the 13th, and I definitely feel highly motivated still. I mean, I had certain goals for the year that I thought I wanted to get, and after further review, kind of realized there were some other things that were actually way more important for me that I needed to kind of work for, which is, in this example, is the business, and it's not just the business, it's everything that falls under the business. So yes, we have the Grove, but the Grove is so many different things, like the Grove has Showtime basketball, the Grove has the Nest, the Grove has the foundation, the Grove has the roots, and so making sure that all those legs of the business, those roots, those branches, are all flourishing, just trying to slowly do the due diligence to make sure that everything is growing the way it's supposed to. But I'm also okay with knowing that shit ain't perfect, there's going to be times where I'm not going to feel highly motivated. There's going to be times I'm really gassed, but that's why I kind of am trying to lock in right now and do my best to stay on top of my stuff, again, this is year 35, year 2026, year of the horse. I was watching a video about it being something called a double horse, I don't know what that means, but just the energy's supposed to be right, and however I'm feeling, I'm supposed to go with it, and I think me just kind of just being on top of everybody about the little things, time management, being respectful of each other, and making sure that we're all helping each other out where we need to help each other out, so again, we're all here separately trying to reach these goals together, for me, I think. And honestly, just, again, this is my spoken journal, just me speaking off the top of my head. I feel one of my things this year is my discipline, and it's just discipline in a lot of different things, my discipline in my eating habits, my discipline in my finances, my discipline in my socials, meaning me doing all the little things that I need to do to help progress me in the right direction. And yes, I feel I am doing that right now, but I got to finish and see how the year goes, and just see how it is and be a little more consistent with all my stuff. Honestly, right now, I have, again, today's the 13th. I have not set up, damn, they closed this exit again. I have not done or uploaded the Unspoken episode 2, so I definitely didn't do episode 3 yet, and here I am recording episode 4, so I'm hella behind, but at the same time, it's on me, me trying to use my time wisely, I feel right now, I just don't have enough time, but that's only because I'm not managing it well. Me taking Kalia in the morning, I really tried to milk that, because, oh, they closed both sides of the ramp. What the heck is happening? Well, let me try to detour my way out of here since they closed every way out of the area. Let's see this. So, taking a detour home since they closed a lot of the exits off of 10th and 11th. And typically I'd be hella bummed out or pissed off or something, but I definitely read something and I'm trying to digest it, what I took it in this morning about, just remembering that a lot of things are out of our control, and the one thing we do have control over is our choices, so me choosing not to be upset about this stuff is gonna help panel everything out. And I know I'm talking about it and it sounds like I'm trying to convince myself, but I'm just explaining myself, so I know the growth and I can hear the growth and see the growth one time, or one day when I look back at these videos. But yeah, I kind of wanted to chop it up about like just where I'm at and me personally, and just again keeping a buck and just trying to be vulnerable, and for me currently, I definitely feel one of my biggest problems again is just certain habits I have, whether it's my eating habits. I feel I low-key got that caffeine addiction, I can't work out without pre-workout, but I also don't eat. So it's like, it's a weird balance that I'm trying to figure out at times. I feel like, talk about this a lot with the people like around me, especially the young guys and the young men that are in relationships. And I've been with my lady since 07, and it is 2016, 2026, so we're about to hit our 20 years. And obviously, like at first you're a young couple, we went through like a very rocky situation, and I mean, shit's not perfect, and ended up working shit out. And eventually, like how all things do, it came to a little rocky road again, and ultimately we both made the decision to try to work it out, but I mean, with that I'm still human, still comes with insecurity some days that are better than others, and for me, I'm just trying to do better, like trying to cut out the bullshit, cut out the lust, cut out like the people who I feel are like planting seeds in my life to veer me away from what I truly cherish, and just having more open conversations with the lady, just knowing that like I'm also a realist, like for me, like to keep it a buck with her, I get it, I work a lot, bro. Like I'm out the house dummy early, and I'm home dummy late 7 days a week right now, so I'm not probably present as much as I should be or as much as I could be. And if she got to do what she got to do, like keeping it a buck, I understand, like I ain't holding anything against you, like it makes sense, like we all have our cups that we need to fill, and if I'm not filling that cup for her, then like all for her trying to make sure she's right. So yeah, just wanted to kind of throw that out there because I feel like that's always been on my mind, and I've never really hopped on camera to open up and talk about that, like. And for me, like again, everything her and I had gone through in the past is what it is, like it's between her and I, and yeah, we just want to make sure that we're still working for our daughter, and for me, I came from a broken home, so to have Kalia, my daughter, like have both her parents around and know that and see that both her parents are still working to build a stronger relationship, like it's dope, it's kind of like how plants are. Like we had a decent foundation and decent soil, and having to repot it, cut off some leaves, kind of accept the leaves that kind of came and grew that we weren't expecting, like have to be cool with those, and especially on the journey of life and the growth of plants, you're never going to know what the plant's going to exactly fucking look like at the end of the day, but you can hope to get it a certain way and trim it and shit. And yeah, this is me just chopping it up and talking at this point. So yeah, I definitely feel like recording this in parts is always like nice because I can kind of pause for a little bit and let my mind wander and just kind of be present a little more. And for me, I think that's good to be on camera and just be present because it's what I truly feel, like right now I'm somehow ended up on fucking old Oakland Road, by my old job at SF Food Supply, and I definitely feel like I've been reminiscing a lot lately. I did that audio that I'll probably put at the end of episode 3 with some B-rolls, but just talking about life and just like the people who were before me that made the sacrifices, i.e., like grandparents, parents, aunts, like a lot of people invested their time and sacrificed a lot of things for me to be where I'm at, So it's only right that I try to do my best to give back and help the people around me grow, but also continue with my goal, which is that generational wealth, and starting to learn that like generational wealth is it's deeper than money, way deeper than money, like I come from a lineage and like a family history where people were alcoholics, like drug addicts, abusive, and that's not just physically abusive, it's also verbally abusive, and I feel like that was a big one that like I personally got to break was verbally and physical abusive, like, and I only learned that because Kalia let me know, like she appreciates the way I parent her, and it's not like I needed that validation from her, I can see how the way she's raised, but she was in a situation where my little brother yelled at her and like kind of cussed her out, threatened to hit her, and I've never done that for her, or to her, so for her that was like a very like traumatic moment for her youth, and I know my brother doesn't know he did that, like he doesn't know he like has that like impact on her, but yeah, he did, it's very unfortunate for their relationship, but they're cool. She spent the night, like had great stories about her time with him when she came back, so maybe he did realize it, I just never talked to him about it because it's like, that is what it is, like we all have to go through our self-healing and our self-realization, we kind of got to go through some weird shit that's going to stick with us forever to kind of realize like the faults that we have too. So I'm hoping he saw it, but I mean, who am I to play judge or jury, But anyways, like seeing Kalia and just making sure that, again, I am breaking that generational curses, and the generational wealth is deeper than, again, cash. It's more of the lessons I'm teaching her, like her being able to see that I'm always consistently working on myself for growth, to do better, to lead better, like whether I'm a better dad, a better husband, a better business partner, a better boss, and I feel like that's where I'm at with everything right now. And I guess transitioning into the actual work side of things, like Ron asked me how I felt yesterday, and I think he's expecting for me to tell him I'm overwhelmed or I feel burnt, but I'm not, and I feel like I'm actually like keeping it a buck, like I'm good, like my energy level is really good, like my task list, I'm attacking slowly every day, I think at home I could do better, like an example, putting my clothes away. I was supposed to make a meal plan for Lady and I, which I did today, made a whole ass book, to be honest, but knocking that out sooner than later, and her and I being able to sit down and actually plan out this get out plan, like Aunt said it best, like, and for me, I definitely want to get back to making 10,000 a month, like, and being in a comfortable position to where I'm not feeling so stressed out about the task, I'm trying to work smarter this year and automate some things so I can kind of slow down, I'm 35. I got a homie I grew up with that retired 3 years ago, at home playing video games, riding a bicycle around, like getting into new hobbies, like cooking meat and shit, shout out my homie Jared, like, and he's always been a guy who was always ahead of all of us, like whether it was stocks, crypto, shit, homework assignments, like he's always been that guy, so being able to try to like always chase him always got me ahead of things, not saying I was chasing him, but he was definitely like a motivator for sure as I got older, and seeing how he moved. So even to this day, again, he retired 3 years ago, like I'm here trying to plot my way out too, so I can kind of enjoy my 40s and 50s, and actually enjoy Kalia's high school career and be at every event and be there to pick her up for practice every day until she starts driving, and just honestly, just as I think about it, just be who Uncle Ron was for me. You know, like Uncle Ron would pick me up from practices, school, bring me to get food, like take me home. You know, like he really played that dad role. You know, and I want to be that for Clea when she's in high school too, because that's something that honestly really stuck with me, especially like not having my dad physically here in California. You know, during those years. You know, so just having him, you know, but I want that relationship to where like she can talk to me, you know. I think for me, I didn't have that open door as a youngin, so as I got older it was kind of harder to open up to certain people. But once I got like in my 20s and early 30s, just being able to like feel people's energies and their frequencies and just know who I can kind of really like link with and who I can't, you know. And I would say my circle is still pretty small. Like I know a lot of people, but the circle's small for show. Uh, and yeah, you know, so yeah, that's my TED talk for today, I guess. Shit, like I am almost home, so I just talked out loud to myself the whole way home. I have music playing in the background, but I can't really hear it, you know. And I guess the last thing before I can actually get home and park, and something I want to share for myself, you know, like chemo, like honestly, like younger version of you is proud of you. Current version of you still wants you to grow, just to make yourself a little more proud, you know. And I think that's what I'm really chasing, is just the consistent growth, you know. Like I never would have thought I would have pulled up to the Grove, sat in my car with my door open for 20 to 30 minutes reading. You know, growing up, I hated reading. Like to this day, I still can't stand reading at times, but I'm hoping that one day you learn to appreciate it and read a little faster, to be honest, because that shit. You got that Wilson education, bro, so yeah, you be struggling. But yeah, man, just again, continue to be a great dad. Continue to do your due diligence and your work to be a fantastic husband. Be the person that Clea and Debbie both need. And ultimately be the person you need for yourself too, man. And I think you do that, bro. Like you rewatch this, hopefully at 38 and 40, and you're proud of what you're going through right now, you know, and you know, like, you're not just talk, bro. Like, you're moving, you're making sure shit's getting done the right way. So, again, Chemo, proud of you, man. If I can actually, let's end on this. Bro, Chemo, right now, you are about, I think, pushing 170, 180. We'll say 180, bro. You're anywhere from like 15 to 18% body fat, bro, which is pretty decent. You're looking filled. At the same time, bro, like, lock in, dude. Like, if you lock in, which I know you will, like, I'm guaranteeing you, bro, like, you'll be in the best shape for your life again. Which I feel like happens pretty often that I let myself go, and you know, I always get on this hype of like trying to record myself and be fucking up at times. So stay consistent, bro. You're 35. You're doing great. Like, I just parked. If I can end with this spiel to myself, man, you are doing great, like I was saying. And I know my thoughts are scattered, but this is the journal for you, so you can kind of see where you're at. You have this townhome in Santa Clara. You've been here for almost 3 years, bro. Never missed a payment. Got this car. Never missed a payment. you have a great credit score. Mid to high 700s, could be way better, but started this business, bro. I think for you, you've always knew you were an owner of the company, but just never fully took charge of that. Like, you worked through Ant and Derek a lot at that time. But now it is your time, bro. And you do got to take charge a little more and, again, work on yourself to be a little better. You know, you're working on how you talk, how you present yourself, the messages you're trying to give off, how you're trying to help guide the younger coaches to become better than you, and ultimately help those trainers and those coaches around you become better trainers and coaches for the next trainers and coaches. And I know you're just starting the journey of like full-on leadership and full-on ownership and full-on like entrepreneur side, you know. It is year 4 now, year 3 or 4 to be honest, and yes, you're doing great, but you've always, since starting this, like, kept your nose above the surface. When you first started training and you were working your 2 to 3 jobs, making that 10K a month, you were dang near walking on water, bro. Chilling. Rent was $600. Now where you're at, like, it's not as cool as it was, and again, you've just been getting by, but you ultimately have to get out of your own way, bro, and just start killing shit every day. Like, kill the habits that you have, you know? So you do that, bro, and I promise you, you're doing good. And if you didn't do it, bro, you're gonna watch this video and be like, fuck, I'm a bum. So, don't disappoint yourself, bro. Peace. Love.
This is where I think out loud. No script, just perspective. Growth isn't loud, the spoken grind.